Well, good afternoon or good evening, everybody, and thanks for joining us today. Welcome back to the NWR Vantage Point Conference and to the Scout Security Investor Presentation. Joining us today, we've got Scout CEO and MD Ryan McCall. I'll pass you across in a moment to Ryan to present the Scout Security story. Then we'll have an intro to the business and an opportunity for Q&A. If you'd like to ask a question during Ryan's presentation, please type it into the Q&A panel in the Zoom app. So to kick things off, I'll hand over now to Scout CEO and MD Ryan McCall. Go ahead, Ryan.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim. Really appreciate it, and appreciate everyone who's joining us here today and anyone who's able to watch this as a recording. To change it up a little bit, I'm going to start off tonight with showing you a little video that we put together to explain exactly where Scout's going in the world of DIY home security. If it plays. Well, it appears it does not want to play the embedded video. This is always what's concerning. Well, let me try one thing real quick while we're on this short delay.
That's okay. Maybe if you can pull the link out, I'm sure we can get it up in a browser or something.
Yeah, I've got it in the browser. Just need to show the separate window. It's always a problem with technology. All right, let's try that one more time.
Yep, looks good.
All right, there we go. All right, well, I hope that came across well enough. Let me switch back over to my actual presentation here. All right, so hope everyone got something interesting out of that. So that is what we are referring to when we say Scout Sense or Wi-Fi Motion Sense home security, the next generation true DIY home security. But to take a step back, let me tell you a little bit about Scout. So Scout has been around for 10 years in the DIY market. We are absolute experts. We have sold direct to consumer. We have small to extremely large corporations within the security industry without it, with ISPs, international partners, you name it. We've done it all. Now, Scout is the true only white label DIY security solution in the world. And what that means is we take our very robust hardware, platform, backend, and app, and we white label it. So we brand it as our customers' own product to then sell through to their end customers. Now, the important thing here is when you look at the consumer, so the consumer now has access to a best-in-class DIY security, which just gives them everything you expect from a security solution. Home monitoring with their cameras, all those sensors for access, glass break, water, ingress, everything, and 24/7 police and dispatch at an affordable price. Our partners, on the other hand, they get a new product line that they didn't have to build themselves, something that's ready to go the second they want to launch. But at the same time, they have the ability to fully customize as they see fit. Fast and cheap route to market for their captive consumer base to grow high margin revenue that recurs on a monthly basis and make top end off of the hardware itself. Where this benefits Scout is the fact that we eliminate the cost of acquisition for a new customer. In today's market, if you're just going out to try and buy a single direct-to-consumer customer, it costs about $500. We eliminate that completely, which drives our costs down and gives us access to huge customer bases with our white label partners. Now, getting a little bit to the industry about where we're at today and where we're going with motion sense security. So you have our existing customers here on one side, Windstream, Lumen, Prosegur. Gives us access to millions of their existing customers, as well as the thousands of new customers they add every single month. Now, all of them use our service. They white label it as their own brand and selling it into their new and existing customers. Below or on the other side, you have the motion sense vendors. So motion sense is driven by the IP. So all of these partners you see here, Origin, Aerial, and Cognitive, they're the leaders in Wi-Fi motion sense in the world. They're basically the only 3 players that exist, and they're the ones that drive the technology behind this. Now, Scott has referral partnerships with all 3 of these, and working towards combining our pipelines and every opportunity we have in existence to get motion sense within any customer, not even just ISPs, and then also bring in Scout for home security. Below them, you have the mesh providers or the CPE providers. These are the providers that sell to other ISPs as well. They sell the modems, routers, and mesh networks. Now, they have existing ISP networks that they sell to, sometimes hundreds upon hundreds of ISPs that they sell to. And we work with them to bring Scout and Wi-Fi motion sense into that. And then lastly, we have what we call the over the top, which is our hardware partners. Now, these partners we work with to integrate Wi-Fi motion sense so we can sell this solution to anybody, irregardless of who their ISP. I could sell it to any direct consumer or white label it to anyone else who's interested. The most important thing here is barriers to entry. Now, home security has taken a long path from traditional hardware home security to traditional, what we call traditional DIY, where you still have a relatively large amount of somewhat expensive hardware and install it yourself. To now we've eliminated that to where you get to home security with, if it's through your ISP and through Scout and through our Wi-Fi motion sense, you already have the hardware in your house that you need. It is activated on your existing modems and routers and mesh network. Every customer can have baseline security just by us turning it on through the partner. And now on the other over the top side, there's a small amount of hardware, but instead of hundreds, you're less than $100 of hardware. A camera or 2, several smart plugs that we've integrated Wi-Fi motion sense in, you're ready to go. And then we have our resale integration. Now, what I was talking about with the managed Wi-Fi mesh providers who are selling into these, their entire platform of ISPs that they work with that we then also sell through too. And the value add that we bring. So our inexpensive HD cameras, video clouds, and HD doorbells that we sell through, as well as having Alexa, which listens for glass break and smoke alarms, which further reduce costs of other hardware. Looking at the roadmap, so we are evolving, right? So Scout is a phenomenal DIY home security partner, but we are going to be the next generation of home-based security. So what this brings for the ISPs, motion sense with nothing else behind it for an ISP only gives the customer an excuse to use the ISP app. But by bringing in home security, they now use it daily. And then beyond that, we look at things like aging in place, facilitating independent living. So opening up from more just home security to even a larger available market within our customers. Now, we are at the forefront of this technology, right? It is going to dominate home security for the coming years. Aging in place is a market that's been around for a very long time, but again, has many problems in regards to hardware costs and those who need that aging in place technology being concerned about having to install things and being monitored by their loved ones. This eliminates all of that. Beyond there is the AI work that's being done on all of this between us and our partners on processing this raw motion sense data, right? Just disruption of Wi-Fi waves isn't very intelligent on its own. It's how you use that data. Now we're going from home security in motion to aging in place to being able to detect people when they're awake or they're asleep. Are they breathing or not? Do they fall down? Is it not just your pet, but is it your dog or your cat? Or did the door or window open? All of those things are on the near horizon. And, further even down the road, low cost return to office and space utilization monitoring. There's products like that in the market today, but they're expensive to buy and expensive to install. This eliminates all of that. And beyond that, there's hundreds of millions of households that can leverage this product for all of these solutions. Now, a little bit just to put this in perspective, just focusing on the US market. Per US Census Bureau, the United States has 124 million unique households, 85% of those with broadband, and we know that 70% do not have home security. Now, this number is really important because the United States is the most penetrated home security market in the entire world, and yet only 30%. That brings us into just the United States, 74 million households that could buy home security and have internet. If you get that at penetration of only 1% and an ARPU of $7 a month, which we know is achievable, that's where we are at or above with all of our partners, that means an ARR with a 1% penetration rate of $62 million a year annually. Now, we already have 6 million plus of those customers that we can go after with our partnerships with Windstream and Lumen. And we're working with all of our other partners I've been talking to about the Wi-Fi motion sense, the mesh providers, and everyone else in the market to further penetrate and grow these businesses jointly. Well, I know I'm running out of time here. I'll touch quickly on on the business. So the recurring monthly revenue streams to 1.1 million at the end of the last quarter, and we continue to grow month over month with our partnerships through Windstream. Windstream launched to a low bandwidth users here back in the previous quarter, increasing our access to their customer base by 30%. We are inching ever so closely to launching our Lumen partnership. It is, would say imminent, but based on when we have approval from their executive team to actually launch our pilot. But the build is complete and everything is working magnificently. And this is all based around Wi-Fi motion sense. We previously announced the raise of 1.72 million USD funding from a syndicate of US investors in secured debt for the business. And looking at our very robust pipeline, again, I've mentioned this several times, but working with all of these customers all these partners to combine our pipelines gives us access to hundreds of millions of potential end users through these referrals. And just a little bit to take a look at later, our corporate snapshot about our registry, our key stakeholders. You'll see Amazon on there, Prosegur, and our board members, co-founders. Our board here on the other side, very robust Australian and United States base. So I believe I've run slightly over, but want to leave time for some Q&A. So thank you. And Tim, is there any questions?
Yeah, good stuff, Ryan. Thanks for the presentation. And yeah, some really exciting pipeline opportunities coming through there on the motion sense side. Let's hop into some of the Q&A that's come through the text line. So Jeremy's asked, thinking about the Windstream deal, can you talk to the commitment level of Windstream to the sale of home security packages to their customers? He's asking, does the deal have an expiry date, whereby if sales targets aren't achieved, the deal would end? And what's our level of insight or influence into the Windstream sales process?
Sure. So there's no expiry date. The contract auto renews year over year and has a notification period, which we've never had to even remotely come close to having a conversation about. There is no time frame on what and how much must be sold by at any point in time. Now, Windstream is very committed to selling this and growing this business, right? So in the United States, at least today, many ISPs are actually losing customers. When I say ISPs, I mean your traditional fixed home internet provider. Many of them are actually losing customers today to fixed wireless. So think the difference between your cellular provider providing fixed home internet versus your actual, coaxial or fiber internet provider. So because of that, they desperately need different sources of revenue. VoIP is on the way out. Streaming exists, but that market is hitting a plateau. So where are they going to find this other revenue? Now that's in home security. So they're very committed. Now, in terms of the last bit of how much influence we have, we speak to the teams multiple times a week. We have dedicated projects managers with them. I have an open line of communication. We have an open line of communication with their heads of retail sales, phone sales, marketing, and customer service. So, they don't have to do anything we tell them to do. They didn't have to buy from us, but they work with us because they trust us and they value our opinion.
Excellent. Thanks, Ryan. So another question on Windstream. With Windstream commencing e-commerce sales of Scout's products, I guess it's imminent in the coming weeks. What's been the initial reaction to the new product in their established market? And how would you expect sales to perform seasonally heading into the back half of the calendar year?
Yeah, so I mean, the reaction to the product since we've launched has been phenomenal, right? The customers love it. We have an excellent solution in terms of our cameras, our back end, and our hardware. So the thing is that traditional home security has been always sold over the phone and door to door, but DIY security has always been sold via e-commerce. So up till now, our partner has been trying to sell DIY security in a traditional manner. Now that is now going to change, and they'll be selling DIY security as it's been sold since its inception. So we do expect to see an increase in that. Now, what that is, a lot of that depends on, marketing, right? So this will be available to their customers through their Go Kinetic portals, but that requires, some work to be done. That's email marketing campaigns, text notifications, pop-ups within the applications, with any consumer marketing, it takes multiple touch points to convince someone to buy. So yes, we expect it's going to be very successful. We expect it's going to drive sales, and that's going to continue throughout the year. The only question is that, you may ask yourself is how long is that going to take to ramp? And again, that depends a lot on the marketing, but we expect to see a noticeable change within the first month or two of sell-through.
Very good. Thanks, Ryan. So with that Windstream launch coming up, as well as the anticipated sales to Lumen customers as well, are you able to outline a timeline or a time frame for quarterly recurring revenue to meet what has been a long-stated goal of the company, which is for monthly recurring revenue to balance monthly cash burn?
Yeah, and unfortunately, I have to avoid giving an exact timeline. I'm more than cognizant of, prior to me coming on with Scout 18 months ago, and even for the past 18 months, we have indicated to the market that is our goal, and it remains our goal, irrespective of any engineering fees or hardware that we bring on. And we have continued to grow revenue. Yes, we are still slightly at as fiscal year end, similar to where we were last year, but we lost our partnership with Zego, and loss is a strong word, right? Zego had been bought twice over since our partnership commenced. And through the second acquisition, that leadership team decided that they did not want to play in the smart apartment space anymore. Now, they gave us more than ample heads up that they were going to be sunsetting that program, and we jointly worked together to wind it down. So that, unfortunately, put us a step back on our revenue. Now, that revenue through Zego was all prepaid. So we had the cash prior, and we were recognizing that revenue over time. And now that we have clawed our way back from, that change in revenue to Windstream growing that single-handedly over the preceding 9 months, we expect it to only continue to grow month over month. And with their ecom launching and Lumen launching, that's only going to accelerate our timeline in terms of when we do get there. So again, unfortunately, I can't give an exact date or time frame on that, but I truly and 100% believe it's on the horizon.
Good stuff. Thanks, Ryan. And can you talk to how the company identifies and assesses potential growth opportunities in new markets or new regions?
Yeah, absolutely. So, not only do we have our internal sales team, as well as the executive team that also extends as our sales team, and I mentioned it several times, but this is where all of our important referral partnerships come around, right? So we have, Plume is US based, Villo is US based, Aerial and Cognitive are Canadian, Origin in the United States, Airties is European, right? So we have all of these partners within the motion sense, the CPE, the mesh, the Wi-Fi extender space, all of them working with Scout globally, right? So everyone plays in North America, South America, Europe, Asia, everywhere. So we're working together to combine all of our pipelines to identify these opportunities. As they sell their products through, they're understanding that, these ISPs and extended outside of those ISPs, have the opportunity to sell home-based security. And these partners of ours can get a piece of that by referring us in. So, and we have very favorable multiple or two-way referral agreements with all these partners. That is how we identify. Obviously, we don't go after every single opportunity, but every single one that we believe, can bring a lot of value to us and our shareholders.
Good stuff. And just time for one quick last one, Ryan. Grant's asking, is Windstream and Lumen in the future offering Scout solutions as part of a bundle, or is it an individual sales process?
Yeah, so currently with Windstream, it is an individual sales process. So, they don't per se give you a discount if you buy their internet, their home phone, and our security service. We've talked about them about that. We know that they are looking at it. It is a very common, at least in the United States, way to sell products. Lumen is taking it a step further. They're looking to sell our solution to not just Lumen customers, but to any customer that is out there that is interested in buying anything from Lumen. So you don't have to have Lumen internet, say, to get our home security solution. Now I think we're too soon to say whether they intend to do any bundling. We know that they won't really at this initial launch, but we do promote it within them as it brings a lot of benefit to the end customers.
Absolutely. Hey, let's wrap things up there, Ryan. So much to look forward to on, particularly on the motion sense side. So we're all looking forward to more news flow on that front. On behalf of Scout, I'd really like to thank everyone for tuning in today. We appreciate everyone's interest. If you have a question we didn't get to, please reach out. Management will be happy to discuss further offline, and we'll make this recording available online at the NWR YouTube account. Really looking forward to the opportunity to talk to you all again. And Ryan, I might pass across to you now for any closing comments.
No, just once again, I really appreciate everyone coming. Really appreciate you hosting us, Tim. Really appreciate the comments, and really appreciate every one of our investors out there. And again, the patience they've had with Scout as we continue down this journey, and look forward to this explosive growth that's on the horizon. So thanks again.
Good stuff. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, everyone. Chat to you soon.